Hello, and welcome back to another brand new review where once again I am going to be reviewing a comic book. So, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, the comic book I'm going to be reviewing is Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Destruction, Issue 1. Why this one? Well, you see, I've been a fan of Power Rangers since I was four. I may not watch or have watched every season of Power Rangers, but it is something that I've kept up with. So I know that in the comics, that shit gets real and shit gets a lot darker than your average kid's cartoon would. And this has a lot of, and it's also like really rich in lore that explains certain things that even some things that initially were just in the comics eventually became showed up in Power Rangers, the TV series itself, from like a throwaway line, which I'll get into in this. So this comic, uh, I loved it. This is a reread for me because when I purchased this back in either 2022 or 2023, I read through it and I loved it because explains things um, about a character who we knew next to nothing about that has shown up in Power Rangers a few times in Power Rangers Turbo, and once in the Countdown to Destruction two-parter in Power Rangers in Space. And it also gives us backstory to Rita Repulsa as well as her father, Master Vile. So the comic it basically opens with the Phantom Ranger touching down on this planet. Um, and then it immediately cuts back to the planet of Daquir. I'm butchering that. It's spelled DA apostrophe QUAR. 10,000 years ago, and we see this woman and a young girl being attacked by Tengu warriors, the creatures that we've seen in the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger film, as well as the in the season three, I want to say two or three of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV show. And that's when the Phantom Ranger shows up and starts beating them down, and he goes to make sure that this woman and her child escapes. We later learned that throughout the battle, that the mother's name is Lady Fiena. I'm probably butchering that. I'm just quickly flipping through, and I'll get to the art uh, in a second. And the child's name is Rita. Yes, so this is basically an origin story for how Rita Repulsa became what she was and what she was originally supposed to be. So Zordon is the one who actually sent the Phantom Ranger to assist Lady Fiona and Rita in bringing them to Zordon for safekeepings. You know, to make sure that Master Vile can't get his hands on them. Mainly Rita. That's all he wants. Um, and in this process, the Phantom Ranger gets badly hurt. And after Fiona and Rita make it onto the Phantom Ranger ship, the on this onboard system recognizes that it is Lady Fiona and asks if they want to leave. She doesn't. She and then goes and rescues the Phantom Ranger, and that's when we learn that he is made of pure morphing energy. You know, he has a link to the morphing grid, which is interesting because I don't remember if that was actually mentioned in his a few appearances in Power Rangers Turbo. I can't remember. I never really watched all of Power Rangers Turbo. I've only seen a handful of episodes, here and there. so I don't know. But I found it very interesting that this comic essentially gave backstory, a little bit of backstory for the Phantom Ranger, that he's actually been active for over 10,000 years, and he is made up of the the morphing grid energy, which, as we've seen, is the morphing grid has always been a thing that's been mentioned. There's even been a few other beings who have been able to tap into it. In Power Rangers Beast Morphers, they try to use it for sustainable energy. So it's been around for a while. So what ends up happening is Lady Fina, instead of having the ship head to Zordon, brings him, brings the Phantom Ranger, because he's near death, to one place that is amazing in art, and it gets like a full page of artwork, and it's called the Master Forge. So I'm going to show that off. That right there is the Master Forge, which I I love the look of it, and I love the lore that we get told. That the Morphin Masters, which, like I said, was I believe it was a throwaway line in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that got picked up in the comics. That we do see them, um, that that eventually ended up actually appearing in the last two seasons of Power Rangers, Dino Fury, sorry, yeah, Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury. Um, so we get a bit more backstory on the Morphin Masters, how they would use this to study the morphing grid. And so then Lady Fina talks about her husband, who then became Master Vile, and how they actually know of Master Forges and the Morphin Grid, and they both peered into it, and was shown two different outcomes for Rita. One where Dark Spectre talked to Rita's father and made him Master Vile, and he saw Rita be Rita Repulsa, whereas Lady Fina actually saw her being the grandmother, or I forget the actual term of it, but it shows a version of Rita that in the Sentai became good and uh, was linked in with the good side of the morphing grid. So I'll actually show you that right here. So that's what I'm talking about. We got the two outcomes for Rita. So we learned then that Dark Spectre um can't come into into the Power Ranger universe because of the morphin energy, the good that resides in the morphing energy. But the one thing he was shown was that he could come through Rita, um, and so that's what Master Vile wants Rita for. That instead of actually going to Zordon, they come up with a new strategy, and that is actually pump Rita with morphing energy in order to make her toxic, so that Dark Spectre can't and cannot enter into her. And that's when Master Vile shows up with his Tengu warriors and beats the Morphin Master within an inch of his life, and then kills Rita's mother and takes Rita with him once he realizes that she can't be used as a vessel for Dark Spectre. He still brings her along with her, and then, as we know, turns her into Rita Repulsa, and then blows up the Master Forge, or rather, Lady Fina had set the Master Forge to explode, and then that left the Phantom Ranger floating, and then it cuts back to the beginning, and basically he's talking to Zordon, and he says, they finally did it. He's here. Dark Spectre has crossed over, which we do know from, I think it was the Turbo Power Ranger film, if memory serves correct. So yes, I thoroughly love this comic. I think it's a great way to build up and explain certain things. It, like I said, it gave the Phantom Ranger more of a backstory that he's been around for this long and was actually trying to help save Rita before she became Rita Repulsa. And I love that we see that start to happen, um, as well as, we get to see Master Vile. We learn that more. It's basically building up more than what the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV, excuse me, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger TV series didn't necessarily do because of the limitations for the Super Sentai. You know, the Zoo Ranger, Super Sentai Zoo Ranger, only lasted for X amount of episodes. So season 2 and season 3, um, they had to use other footage from other stuff, and that's when Lord Zed came in, who is a Power Ranger exclusive villain, and so on and so forth. So yes, I really enjoyed this. Like I said, the comics for the Power Rangers can get very, like, they're not afraid to kill. You know, that's only happened in a few times in the Power Rangers TV series where characters have actually, main characters, good guys have been killed. Um, but in this, it happens quite a bit. Like, we learn, I know later on in the comics, or at some point in the comics, we learn of a 60s era Mighty Morphin team that was dealing with a Psycho Green, that only one or two people survived that. Psycho Green cracked one of the Rangers' helmets, I believe it was the Yellow Ranger, and they suffocated to death. And it shows that in the comics, which that's why I think Boom Studios, who are the company behind the Power Ranger comics, have done a fantastic job. Now I know this is going to not do well because most of my audience are older and they haven't grown up with Power Rangers. So I know this isn't going to do well because it's not going to reach my target audience. Um, but that's fine because I wanted to review this because I love it. Power Rangers was one of my early special interests. First it was Thomas the Tank Engine, then it was Power Rangers, then it was Doctor Who, and now it's Star Trek. As well as a few others sprinkled in throughout the years. But yeah, I definitely want to pick up more Power Ranger comics, um, especially the Shattered Grid comics. I really, really, really want to read those because of how insane I've heard that the Shattered Grid can get. Because like with Marvel, Power Rangers has multiple universes. There's a universe where the dinosaurs were never wiped out. That was the Dino Charge universe. There's another timeline where AI wiped out the entire planet. That's the RPM universe. You know, there are so many universes. Hell, even the comics are classed as their own universe, per se. So I definitely do want to start acquiring more Power Ranger comics because I have a few already. But I definitely want to get more in my collection. So that is going to wrap up this review. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you all on Monday for another brand new movie review. Um, I don't know what that is because I'm actually recording this all the way back in May. Yes, I'm recording this early for once. But that's going to wrap this up. Again, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I shall see you all on the next upload.